Hi, this is Cayden from VIA Value Investing Academy. Now, thanks for joining another evening of our deep dive series, right? And for tonight, we're going to talk about one company that most of you are pretty familiar, and its name is called PayPal. Now, if you look at the share price of PayPal, right? PayPal has actually plunged about 70% of the share price from their recent high to their recent share price. So now the question is, you always hear people talking about buying low and selling high, right? And since the share price has dropped close to 70%, so is it really a good time to buy this evening? But before we talk about, whether to buy or not, let's look at this chart, right? If you look at the graph over here, okay, I just want to make sure that our teammate can see the graph, okay? If you look at the graph over here, the most recent high, it was about $308.53, and that was in 23rd of July 2021. So you can see, right, the share price actually dropped pretty sharply until the most recent price about 100 plus, slightly past 100. So remember, so in other words, the share price actually lose about two-thirds, right, 66%. That's really very drastic. So is it a good buy right now? Now, before we talk about buying, right, let's gather more information first. Now, if you look at this graph over here, you can see on the 13th of March 2020, right, the share price was again really low. And then if I draw one horizontal line across, in fact, I think the share price of this 105 is 2 years low. Yeah. So let's do a quick recap. Share price dropped by about 66%, 2-year low. So in terms of price, yeah, it sounds and looks pretty low, right? So is it a good time to buy? So before we share with you our thoughts, right, let's look at some of the so-called experts via this video, right, by Morgan Stanley.
You own PayPal and Visa, and PayPal's been squirrely lately. The return on that stock's down 5% year to date, 6 months down 40%.
Yeah, PayPal saw the correction much earlier than others. Obviously, it's for fundamental reasons. However, there was a bit of a disappointment, but I think it led to a reset of expectations, where expectations have really arguably gotten ahead of themselves here. But this company is really a leader within the payment processing industry in terms of innovation and also growth. We think that's going to continue into this year. Also have some exciting developments with Venmo being accepted now on Amazon. We don't expect a huge financial contribution, but it really adds legitimacy to the Venmo platform. So we still think that this is an interesting opportunity for a name that was once beloved and that is incredibly profitable and still has a lot of opportunity ahead of itself.
Jason Snipe, you on PayPal as well. What do you make of the recent decline? I mean, this was a very much loved stock, and it's certainly been in the penalty box.
Yeah, it's been a tough run down on the other side. I mean, not too long ago it was up over 300. So, yeah, I agree with a lot of what Brenda already just said. I think payment volumes, though, have been surging. That trend is not changing. It was up 26% in the last quarter. So I think this might be an opportunity here. Again, it's an expensive stock. It fits in that bucket. But I do think there's some opportunities here, and there's definitely opportunities for the long term. Because there's provided all the secular tailwinds that support this industry. So I like PayPal here.
So Josh Brown, where does PayPal fall in those kinds of stocks that we talked about at the outset of the show today? It's down 42.5% from its 52-week high. Is this one of those, I need to buy it now because the fundamentals are so sound, or I need to run for the hills because the stock's been just trashed in a relatively short period of time and is now sitting more than 40% from its high?
Yeah, I like the stock. This is one of those that, I've used bounces to lighten up on, but I've been dead wrong on this because close to 300, I was beating the drum. You got to be in PayPal. So I've been very wrong in this name. I really did not anticipate the relentlessness with which the market would be selling off the fintech names. I thought these names were okay. And PayPal is nowhere near as expensive as it was at those levels. But to Brenda's point, they also came out in November and changed the story. They came out and, the expectation was for 20% growth in 22, and they came out and said more like 15. And so a lot of that selling was warranted. So I have been wrong in the name, despite the fact that it's currently trading right around my original average cost. And I am sticking with most of my position here, and I am looking to stay with this stock for the long term. I think PayPal ultimately is going to own very important real estate on everyone's smartphones. We're not going to have 10 fintech apps. I've talked about this on the show before. I think we're headed to a point where everyone's going to use 2 or 3 super apps, which will enable you to do everything from paying your bills to buying crypto, trading stocks, having managed money on your phone, etc. We're not going to want a whole screen full of these. So I think PayPal is positioned better than most. You look at what went on yesterday with SoFi getting their bank charter. Nice reaction in the stock, but that's not even close to where these names are going to have to go in order to be that super app. I think Venmo in stores is a very underrated part of the reopening story. I think Venmo at Amazon as well has a lot of potential. But just overall, this company with almost 400 million users is positioned better than any other. So I want to stay with my core position here for the long term.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. You have watched the video hosted by Morgan Stanley, right? And of course, inside their show, I think there are 4 experts in which they are sharing their opinions. And before we go on talking about PayPal, just to let you know, right, you need to be very mindful and conscious between 2 things. One is facts, and the other one is opinion. So one more time, right? One is facts, and one is opinion. So let me give you an example. The sun it rises from the east. The sun will rise from the east and it will set in the west. So this is the fact. So if you state the fact, nobody can argue against the fact because this is really a fact. But an opinion may sound something like the sun rise from the east and it means bad luck, or it means that the weather is hot. So this is an opinion. So remember, right, what is the fact in this case, right? Now the fact in this case is PayPal share price did fell from this highest point, which is the most recent high, all the way down to the 100 plus level. And the fact is the share price has dropped by 66%. Now, so this is the fact. The sun rise from the east, and right now it's setting, right? It's setting, right? It's set all the way to 105.17. So now the question is, why did it set? You know, why the so-called sun set, and why did the share price drop? Now, so let's talk about why the share price dropped first. Now, as value investors, usually we don't really care about, you know, understanding why the share price dropped and so on. But since this is one of the key interests for most people, let's talk about this first. So our role, remember, as investors, we want to be a business analyst and not a share price analyst. Yeah, but it's okay. So let's talk about something that most people are interested in. And if you watch the video just now, people talk about, you know, PayPal is going to be one of the super app. They are some of the key players. They are the market leaders and so on. But is it really true? Now, so let's look at this article, right? And by the way, just to let you know that this article is not really new. It dates way back to 1st of February 2018. So it's 4 years ago. So people are thinking, oh, no, PayPal is the market leader. But we need to slowly understand, right? Actually, PayPal has many competitors. Now, they are the market leader today, but will they continue to be the market leader tomorrow or 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road? So in this article, you can see, right, eBay, everybody knows, they dumped the so-called market leader, right, PayPal, for a smaller European competitor. And I don't think anyone will have heard this company called Adyen. In fact, I have no idea such a company exists until I'm required to really do some research on PayPal. So there is a company called Adyen. Of course, it's a much smaller player than PayPal. So now the question is, why would eBay, such a big company, dump another big company, right, for a smaller player? But let's understand what is this Adyen first, right? So what I did was I visited the website, did a screenshot, and then in summary, remember they are a payment gateway like PayPal, excuse me, right? But they are Dutch company. So they are Dutch payment company, same thing like PayPal, which allow businesses to accept, you know, e-commerce, mobile, all sorts of different payment. And remember, right, it's also a public listed company, but it's listed in Euronext. Yeah, Euronext. So this is Adyen, a much smaller PayPal company. But let's look at the more recent news, right? Recent news, which is date way back to 1st of June 2021. That's the period of time where the share price start to so-called slide. So you look at this article, eBay sellers can no longer use PayPal under the new term. So what does it mean, right? What does it mean? Now, just focus on this last sentence. This change means that eBay buyers, so in other words, if you want to buy things, right, I can still pay with PayPal. But on the other hand, sellers, right, will be paid straight to their bank account. But it used to go through PayPal. So I want you to imagine that if the eBay want to bypass PayPal, it simply implies that the amount of money that PayPal makes is going to be significantly lesser. Because last time they can make money from both sides, right, the buyers and sellers. So right now they can make money only from the buyers. So assuming that suddenly your salary drop by half, 50% pay cut. So that's quite serious, quite serious. But the interesting thing is actually, just to let you know that eBay once owned PayPal. But I'll share more about this later on. So this is an interesting thing, and then they split, Now, then another piece of news, this is also pretty recent. This is on the 1st of Feb 2022. PayPal stock plunges on weak earnings guidance. So in other words, if I may travel to this slide, right, one of the reasons why the stock start to slide is eBay, just like I was saying, right, the sellers no longer, the sellers will be paid straight. What do I mean by, let me just paraphrase. So eBay will pay the sellers directly bypassing PayPal. So that's the beginning of so-called the stock sliding, right? And then more news over here. It says that the PayPal reported mixed Q4 2021 earnings. Now, let me just describe these terms. Analyst reports, newspapers like to use certain words, mixed. Mixed, that means there are people who are happy, that said it's mixed feeling, right? And then provided guidance for the next quarter that fell short of analysts' estimates. So what does it mean? It simply means that analysts, which may belong to Wells Fargo's, banks or whatsoever, they say, hey, they expect that the earnings per share of PayPal needs to make 1.16. Yeah, and then many analysts, okay, 1.16, another analyst 1.16, another analyst 1, right? So they have some form of consensus that earnings per share for next quarter should be around this level. But unfortunately, right, the company say, yeah, even though you expect like 1 point something, but I think we expect 0.87. So it fell below of analyst expectation, right? And because it fell below expectation, the stock market, who are predominantly people who don't understand stocks, the moment they hear something, you're not going to meet the target, so they start to dump stocks, which is why the stocks further slide. And then what makes things worse is not only they lower the earnings per share guidance, the PayPal reported weak full-year revenue growth. It reminded me of Alibaba, where the revenue growth slows down below people's expectation, then people start to dump stocks. So these are the two reasons. So remember, this is one reason, and this is the second reason why the stocks slide. But remember, our key thing is we want to focus. Yes, we understand why the price stock because of bad news, below expectation, and so on. But I think the most important thing is we need to focus on the business because the price tells nothing about the business. Only the business tells something about the business. So let's look at the business part of PayPal, right? Right now we have about 120 people watching. Actually, I should ask this question right in the beginning. Can I just check? Can you hear my voice after speaking 10 minutes? Can you hear my voice? If you can hear, can you just type yes? So silly, right? It's like I should have asked this right in the beginning, but after I talk so much, after that you say cannot hear, then I have to go back again. Now, if you can you just type yes now, so that I know you can really hear. I suppose so. But it's okay. So let me just read some portion of this disclaimer because this look very long, and then most of you will have, we have read this. Okay, Angeline say can hear. Okay, very good. Kim Ying, okay, very good. MK Preston. Okay, good. So let's get started. I think I'll just focus on this. Now, just take note, right? In no event shall VAA and any of the authors, which is me and Hillary, be any liable to you, viewers, guests, or third party for any damages of any kind arising out of the use of any content shared here. Now, if you want to point fingers, you can point fingers at the experts hosted by Morgan Stanley, right? So, including without limitation the use of such content outside of its intended purpose or investors' education, and any investment loss, lost profit, lost opportunity, special, incidental, indirect, consequential, or punitive damages resulting from such unintended use. Okay, so remember, neither My Kinesis Investments Private Limited, VIA, nor me and Hillary, right, are operated by or affiliated with any dealer, broker, or licensed financial advisor. Okay, so I think this paragraph will represent what we want to say for disclaimer. So let's get started. Okay, a lot of people all say can hear, Very good. So let's go deep dive. into PayPal. So what is PayPal? Yeah, everybody heard before. Yeah, it's the market leader. So what is PayPal? Now, I think it's better that we play a very short video, right, from a merchant perspective who has used PayPal, and then they describe to you from their perspective how useful PayPal is. So this is our second video.
Press, we always strive to be accessible. It's part of our mission. So accessibility for nutrition and accessibility about ways that you can pay. And PayPal allows us to do that. Just log in and you're done with your transaction. Now we're thinking, what can we do in the future, both from a digital standpoint and also an in-store experience standpoint? When we launched our VIP program 3 years ago, we started using QR codes as a way to pay. It's a very seamless transaction for our customer, and I think they love it, and I personally love it too. And PayPal's been a part of that. And they're continuing to innovate in this space as customers become more comfortable using QR codes to pay. So what I'm excited about is PayPal is thinking ahead for us, so we don't have to worry about what customers will want. The thing our customer always asks for is just a better experience, both in-store and online. PayPal will be there to help us do that.
Now, welcome back. If you pay attention to the four experts who commented, right, or shared their opinion about PayPal, it appears to be quite positive. And this video appears to be a very positive review at PayPal, obviously because the video is done by PayPal. So own self, praise own self. So this is PayPal, right? So far, it seems to be quite good. So what is really PayPal? Let's go into some nitty-gritty, right? You want to make it like very sexy. PayPal is a global fintech company, but if we put it aside, they are a payment gateway. To make it less sexy, right? So they are a payment gateway that provides digital and mobile payment two sides, the merchant and the consumers, which means that if you go to any restaurant, right, if you swipe your credit card, the restaurant, right, is a merchant. So me swiping the credit card is a consumer. So they make money from both sides. And of course, they make money from both sides by providing a three-prong, right, of service. So one is by allowing people to send payment, allowing people to receive payment. And then this is quite interesting. I didn't know that PayPal actually allows people, right, to hold money in crypto. This is probably very new. And then if you look at the bottom part, right, so this is a summary of what PayPal really is and what are the services that they provide. Remember, right, they provide a service, they get paid. So these are the services that PayPal do. And of course, all of you, if you have buy any stuff online, tickets and so on, of course you can access this payment gateway PayPal via online, mobile, or in person. So these are the modes of payment. And then this is not so important, but where is the office, right? It's in US, and of course, being a very huge public listed company, they also have multiple worldwide offices to provide all sort of support. Now, and then here they talk about 426 million customers and so on. Now, just to let you know that as laymen, for example, like me and you, if we look at these numbers, actually these numbers don't really mean anything. Like for example, if you look at this number in isolation, right, 426 million active accounts. Yeah, I know it sounds big, right? But what does it mean? So for us as investors, one screenshot is not so key, but what we need is we want to see multiple screenshots, right, over a period of time, so that we will know whether their active users increasing or decreasing. But it's okay, right? So these are some basic information. There's one more thing, right? So if you look at this part, you'll realize that in terms of merchant account, it's a smaller number, and then consumer account is a larger number. I think this is in this proportion, right, is because business provider cannot be more than the customer, correct? So B2C, a business one day provide many customers, right? Yeah, so it's natural that the number of merchant accounts should be less than the consumer account. So nothing to be alarmed. Now, so let's look at the history. This is the interesting part. Now, the PayPal is really not a very new company. It started way back in 1998, right, by all these people. This Peter Thiel, right, if I get the name correct, is quite a popular figure. So it started way back 1998, so almost 20 plus years. And then it merges with Elon Musk company, and his company is called X.com. Yeah, X.com. And then subsequently, right, Elon Musk so-called is being set aside, and then this Peter Thiel, right, became the CEO of this merged a company. Then subsequently, it was renamed as PayPal. Yeah. And subsequently, of course, they want to raise more money, they want to grow, right? So they go through this process of initial public offering so that their shares are listed in the New York Stock Exchange and can be sold to people so that people can buy. And then if you bought PayPal on day one, the share price is about $13. Yeah, right now, I think the share price, just now was 100 plus, right? Yeah, so we are talking about 700% increase. But of course, easier said than done. We wish we could turn back time, right? Yeah, but that is like the so-called the return if we're invested. And then remember just now I talked about the eBay once merged with PayPal. So in 2002, actually, eBay acquired PayPal. Yeah, PayPal. So these are some of the growth right after the acquisition. So I will not go into detail. You can read over here. And the interesting thing is 12 years after their marriage, eventually they end up with like a split. Yeah. So right now eBay is eBay and PayPal is PayPal. And of course in 2015 they launched more and more service so that they can make more and more money, right? And this service is called PayPal.me. It's actually a peer-to-peer, PC to PC type of transfer, right? And of course, as they want to grow, they also want to work with different type of companies. And one of them is Instagram. So that's one way of growing. Another way of growing is to acquire companies. And these are the companies they acquired. Yeah. Now, so PayPal, how should I say, right? They grow by a few ways. By launching new services, they grow by expanding. For example, going to China, of course. And then, like all other typical companies, they grow by killing off their competitors. So right now, PayPal is no longer the PayPal that it was started way back in 1998. It's really a very huge company, and they are the market leader. So these are the companies, the small fishes, right, that have eaten up by PayPal. And if you pay attention to the things that they do on the right, remember, right, one of the objectives for acquisition is, for example, if PayPal take over Braintree.com, right? So this also means that PayPal right now provide this function. Yeah. So in order for them to be very competitive, there are a couple of things they can do. Number one is they really kill off the competitor until the competitor die. The other way is to acquire them. And this is one way that PayPal is trying to slaughter their competitors by acquiring them. And then by acquiring them, you remember the services and the function they provide increases. And then they also gather their users, right? From the companies that acquire so that they grow. Yeah. So for a smaller company right now, it's really pretty huge. And remember, if you look at the number in isolation, it means nothing. But let's look at the trend. So this one is in first quarter 2010, which is about 12 years ago. This 84.3 are in millions, right? But the most important thing is the trend, right? So in Q1 2010, it was 84.3 million, and right now it's 426, which means that across the past 11 years, let me just count, right? Yeah, 11 years, correct. So the number of active users in millions, right, have increased by 405%. So that's a lot. That's a lot. Oh, so here we have some comments. Desmond say, you see, now got Apple Pay, right? Yeah, so it's not so easy. It's not so easy. People thought that PayPal is like the market leader. They are the only one, but really there are more and more competitors popping up. So Desmond is absolutely correct. There's a Apple Pay, there's a Google Pay, and then Desmond say we pay also. Yeah. In Singapore, we got our Pay and Pay. Okay, never mind. This is a political joke. I think let me skip this. You don't get a joke, Pay and Pay. Pay and Pay recently got a new prime minister. You don't know, man. Okay. Okay, so let's start. Now, let's go into the detail about the products. But remember, just now I talked about how PayPal make money. They make money from two sides. One is from the merchants, which are smaller, right, because of business owners, right? And the other one is consumers, which have a larger database. So there's a left side, and then there's a right side. So I'm just going to cover one side, right? I'm going to cover the consumer side. So how do they make money from merchant? Now, if you have some experience, so-called having a PayPal account, you may notice that you can open a PayPal account for absolutely free. So you must understand if it's paid. I mean, who's going to open the account, right? So the reason why businesses usually they want you to open an account which is free, because they want you to be familiar with the interface, right? Use some of their services, for free. So if you look at this, you can see, okay, not only you can open an account for free for the merchant, you can do all this function, right, at no cost. Yeah, and since there's no cost, there's no harm for you to have an account and then do all this, right? So you get used to it, you know, until you feel shocked. And then after that, you realize that, hey, actually, I wanted more services. Then PayPal, oh, you want more services? We do have more services. But of course, the merchant, right, has to make some payment. So this is a typical trick. One, free of charge, right? Second thing, they give you other so-called free features for you to use so that you get locked in, right? And then after that, once you're very familiar, hey, we actually offer this. Yeah, so this is on the merchant side. Oh, so Alvin, Zen, and Wendy get the joke, huh? Okay, never mind. This is a Singaporean joke. Okay, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my company's merchant account in case you have not seen a merchant account. So this is actually a screenshot of my merchant account. Of course, I remove all the sensitive information, right? So if I logged in, you can see things like there's a dashboard and so on. Now, so do you notice that I can send money? Send money, that means I can send money to another party, and I can also request money from someone. Now, for example, right, if let's say I'm a freelancer, I'm providing certain service. Yeah, so before I provide the service, I can request money from you. You pay me first, then I will make that service. Okay, got it? And of course, send money is the other way around, the other way around, right? So I'm going to show you how it works. So if I click on this send and request button inside my account, which is a real account, you see, remember I can send, I can also request. And then, so these are the functions. These are the functions, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you one real activity so that you really appreciate how PayPal make money. So in my account, actually, I click on this activity and I select a certain date range, right? Certain date range, so that a receipt pops up. Now, this is a real receipt, but I covered the information where I collected money from someone by providing a service. So you can see here I collected, that means actually I charged the customer, right, 576 US dollars. Yeah, but do you notice at the end of the day, whatever I collect is only this amount, 553. Because the PayPal, of course, you provide a service, they need to take a cut, right? So if you look at this 22.76%, it's actually almost a 4% transaction fee. Yeah, so that's really a lot, 4%. Yeah, 4%. So 4% is almost equals to our CPF, right? Yeah, so it's really a lot, huh? You think about it that way, wow, they really make big bucks just being a middleman, which is why when they lose businesses, right, through eBay and so on, this 4% is no longer around. So this is just to show you from a merchant perspective, when you log in, how does it look like? And this is a whole range of ways PayPal make money. So PayPal, like all retail investors, they have multiple streams of income. So total, there are 8 streams. Yeah, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, this, I think it's a blog site of this company called Business Strategy. I'm going to give credit to them. They are the one who prepared this screenshot. So nice, right? Every stream of money actually comes with different shades. So it's really nice. Okay, 8 streams of passive income. Wendy Ting asks, how can we view the demo full screen? What do you mean? How can you... Wendy, you want to see, you want me to log inside and show you the amount of money I have, is it, in my PayPal account? Cannot, cannot. You can open your PayPal account and then you see. Now, of course, just now was a very brief idea how they make money from the merchant side and from the consumer side. So right now, we're going to go into detail, right, and look at how PayPal really make money, revenue generation, and I'm going to pass the airtime to Hillary, who is going to take over. So thank you, Hillary.
Press, we always strive to be accessible. It's part of our mission. So accessibility for nutrition and accessibility about ways that you can pay. And PayPal allows us to
Hi, good evening, everyone. So from here onwards, I'll be sharing in more detail about what PayPal, how they make money, their competitors, their competitive modes, all things will be covered after this. So first off, we'll look at how they generate their revenue. So first off, earlier on, can I have a brief you all how PayPal actually generate money. So first thing, we can see that the total revenue that they got in 2021 is about 225.4 million. And then we can see that it's actually coming from two main streams. But we can see that actually a huge chunk of it, about 92% of it, is coming from transaction revenue. So like, what does it really mean, transaction revenue? So now we'll deep dive into see what the transaction revenue is really about. So for the merchants, as long as the payment transaction has been completed, like the example that Cayden has showed, then they will get charged. They will get charged a fee, and also some other payment related services for merchants. Whereas for consumers, they list out like foreign currency conversion, interest fee when you're using their credit products, and also instant transfer from PayPal account to debit or bank account, and some other fees. Now we will also have a quick look about the revenues from other value-added services. So from here, they list out 4 of these, like the partnership with other brands, referral fees, subscription fee for scheduled payments. This one is for merchants, like whenever they have some subscription fees charged to their customers, then they can actually use PayPal to ask the customers to pay for them for the subscription fees. And then another one is the payment gateway fees. Okay. And then they also categorize their revenue based on geography. So from this pie chart, we can see that even though both pie chart looks half of it, but a huge chunk of it is coming from US, which is about 54% is coming from US. Okay. Then we will also look at the future plans, like what are the potential growth. So earlier on, Cayden has shared what PayPal is. So now we want to know whether this company has any potential growth in the future, like what are they doing to make sure that the company is growing and also making more money, which is something that we as investors like to know. So first off is that they wanted to grow their core business. So we can see on how they generate their revenue is from generating via payment transaction. So their core business is actually payment related. So first off, definitely, earlier on, Cayden has shared that the chart on the user that is growing from 80 plus million until 400 plus million. So first thing is to grow the customer base. And then next is that they increase the customer use of products, because if they provide more products and also services for the customers, then there will be more people wants to use the PayPal payment platform. So for merchants, one of the products that they provided more is QR code payments. Like earlier on, there was a video shown by Prest, and they said that PayPal is thinking ahead for them so that they know what the customer wants. And now this is one of it, which is the QR code payment. And interestingly, because of COVID, they don't encourage people pay by cash, where they wanted to minimize the physical contact. So they are pushing more forward towards digital payment, and QR code is actually one of the digital payment. And also they also protect the sellers from any fraud. Like sometimes people will say that they make a transaction, but suddenly they cannot receive payment because it's kind of like some bad players, they are making a fraud from it, so they cannot collect the payment for the merchants. And then the next thing for consumers, they are coming up with super app, like the Morgan Stanley video that was shown earlier. One of the commenters says about super app. So later we'll see what super app really is. And then there's this stable coin. So what is stable coin? We will also find out what it is, and also credit cash cashback. This is something that most of us like. That means when we spend, we also get some cash back, right? Okay, so first off is this super app. So new PayPal app. So it contains like these savings, in-app shopping tools, deals, and rewards. Usually whenever, like last time when PayPal first started up, it's just like sending money, receiving money, that's all. But right now they are setting up a new app so that they can do more from it. So it's like all-in-one personalized app. So earlier on, Cayden has shared about what the app is. So maybe we will have a much more in-depth to see what this app is about. So first thing, you can pay the bills and also manage the balances as if that your handphone is your wallet. So even though last time we will need to take physical cards, physical cash to go out to buy things, but right now just bring your handphone out, then you can just easily make any payment transactions. And also you can also store your cards inside, so you don't have to bring out your physical card. Just bring your phone out, then you can buy anything that you want. And also you can also send money, like for example, one of your family members needs some money, and then you can easily send to them as long as you have some money inside your PayPal app. And in US, they can buy and hold cryptocurrency. So you can see Bitcoin, Ethereum. So it's quite interesting. Will they bring out this cryptocurrency into global? We won't know, but maybe in the future, maybe yes. And now earlier on, we mentioned about stable coin. So actually, PayPal has confirmed a rumor that they are actually launching their own stable coin. So it looks something like this, PayPal coin. And then if this really works out, it's actually one of their cryptocurrency efforts. So we can see that inside the app for the US customers, they already start to have some crypto wallet for them to store and hold crypto. And next up is this credit card cashback. So how you can earn cashback is that when you use PayPal to check out to buy things, then you get a 3% cashback. But if you purchase other Mastercard related purchases, you also get a cashback, which is about 2%. So it's quite nice, right? When you like buy something, you also get some cashback.
Okay, the revenue is 25 billion, not 25 million.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So the next future plans is that they are forming strategic partnerships. So earlier on, Cayden has shared that other than growing organically or acquiring some small fishes, they are actually working with other partners to expand their their payment solution providing. So one of them is like Visa, to accelerate more people to use digital payments. And then another thing is Salesforce. So what is Salesforce? We will also look into it. Okay. So first off is Visa. So why do they want to work with Visa? It's because they wanted to improve the payment experience. Like imagine when you go to a store, when you buy something, and then you tap your card, but the payment does not go through. You have to try a few times for the payment. Only then it will go through. It's a very it's like, why the payment is not going through? It's a bit frustrating, right? But with this, they are trying to make sure that whenever the customer use to make payment, then it can easily go through. And also for the merchant-wise, they also try to expand more in-store point of sale. What is a point of sale? So you can see this diagram. Point of sale is something like a terminal where you go to the payment terminal, you put in your card, or maybe you can pay cash to the cashier, and then they will take the payment. So this is what is called a point of sale. And also, you can easily withdraw money with your Visa debit cards, and also enhance data quality for better customer experience, so that with this data, they will know who you are, and then you can easily apply for rewards, or maybe if there's some disputes for the payment type, you can easily go to their call center, and then they have your data, then they can try to minimize the time and help you to solve these disputes. So earlier on, I mentioned about Salesforce. So Salesforce is actually an online database, a cloud database where they manage the customer relationship, because whenever a customer approach a merchant, they will have some of the customer data to make sure that what are the purchase history, or maybe some customer preferences, so that it will customize or tailor to the customer's preferences, like specialized treatment. Okay, so for this one, they will allow to have a checkout options so that they can enhance their e-commerce experience, like this PayPal branded button. So when people see this PayPal checkout, they will know that, okay, my payment will be securely sent to the merchant, and it will not go lost somewhere, or maybe the merchant will definitely think that, okay, the payment will definitely comes to me. So it's like both sideways, it's a bit of a safe transaction. Okay, so other than growing their own businesses, forming strategic partnership, they are actually also looking some new areas of growth. So what type of new areas of growth? So first off is the payment innovations, and also some acquisitions, or maybe growing organically. So we will see what are the payment innovations they have. So first off is the digital wallet, where they will roll out for global people, not only just US. And then another thing is pay in full. So this one, when I was doing research, it was interesting, like what is pay in full? Pay in full is actually an installment plan. So that means you purchase something, Then you break up the payment into 4 times, and then at certain time you pay the payment in 4 different installments. And then another thing is check out using crypto in the future, because right now for PayPal in US, they can only buy and hold crypto, but they cannot actually make payment with crypto at the moment. So maybe in the future, they will allow to have check out with the crypto. And then earlier on, one of the experts in Morgan Stanley video mentioned about Venmo. So Venmo is actually very popular in US. It's only available in US. It's a social peer-to-peer money transfer. So it's like when you're using Pay now, like, okay, my friend and me, we go out and eat, and then my friend paid, and I want to pay her back, so I just use Pay now and pay back. But in US, they are actually using Venmo. So Venmo is something like this. So they can actually send a very customized message, says that I have fun at the mall, love ya, okay, here's the payment. So this is what Venmo is at the first. So they can only make money transfer only via the mobile app. But then they start to expand and then have provided more products and services, like for example, a business profile. And also they also have a credit card. So it's not only just a mobile app. So they can also do like right now there's a lot of entrepreneurs or maybe startups. They wanted to have some payment, so they can easily use Venmo to receive payments from their customers. And also they have like a physical credit card to make payment. Okay. So next up, we will look at fintech industry, because earlier on, Cayden said that PayPal is a global fintech company, but fintech right now is one of the hottest words. But do we really know what fintech is? Before I do the research, I was like, what is fintech? Fintech sounds very savvy, but what really fintech is? Okay. So first off, we will see this. So this one is actually the latest data from Singapore. So we can see it's been segmented into different segments. So here is about total 15 segments. And then fintech is actually a combination words between financial services and technology. So to explain this in more layman terms, it means that it automates or maybe make the financial service much more efficient, because we know that whenever we go to banks, like to get loans or maybe some other things, do some financial related services, we will need to wait a long time for them to check our data or maybe check our credits to make sure that, okay, once you borrow this loan, you definitely can pay back. But right now, with the technology, with the AI, big data, they can just easily see your spending habits, maybe your salary based on those data, and then they will see that whether are you able to make payment for the loans that you get and easily approve the loans within like a few minutes. So this is what fintech really is. But for this, we are not going to explore all 15 segments. We will only look at payments. So payments is actually referring to money transactions for goods and services. In short, it's send and receive payments, which is something like this. I like that thing, and then I make payment for that thing, so that product will be sent to my house. Okay, so now for this, we will look at both sides, the payment gateway and also the digital wallet. So one is the receiving, and another one is the sending or paying. So for the payment gateway, it actually facilitates a seamless, that means it's much more smoother payment transaction for businesses and e-commerce. And these services are usually provided by bank or maybe third-party payment service provider, like for example, PayPal, Stripe, and Block. So for digital wallet, it's a payment tool on mobile app or maybe some internet-connected devices, like for example, PC, tablets, yeah. And they actually stores your credit card in virtual. And also they hold funds, like what we saw in the PayPal Super App. So you can see there's a credit balance. Yeah, so when you put your money inside, it will hold funds in it, so you can use it to make payments. So for example, like Google Pay, Alipay, and PayPal, like what Desmond said earlier. Yeah. Okay, so now we'll have a quick jump into it to see what payment gateway really works. So first off, the customer buys something. So they put in their payment info, like let's say on website, submit order, and then the e-commerce site will send all this payment info, like your credit card info, and then it will send to this payment gateway, which is PayPal, and then they will process it, and then they will send it to this credit card company, so that they will verify on this credit card whether is there any like credit in it, whether can it proceed or not. And then it will send back to payment gateway, And then this one will send to the seller, and then the seller will receive money. So this is how the payment gateway actually works behind the scene. So we as consumers, it's easy. We just make payment, then okay, payment passed. Then we can take our products and go off. But at back end, there's actually a lot of things that's happening. So now we will also see how digital wallet actually works. Yeah, maybe people heard what digital wallet is, but how does it really works? I had no idea. So first off is that you need to have a bank account or a credit card and debit card, and then you add money. That means you put in funds into it to store inside your digital app wallet, or maybe you can put in your credit card info so that it will hold information of your credit card and debit card. So inside, there will be some money inside. So you can use it to make payment online store, or maybe make payment in store. Like whenever you go to the store, you say, the merchant will definitely ask you how you want to make payment. Nowadays, most of the people will say Nets or maybe PayWave. Yeah. And then another thing is that you can also use a digital wallet for peer-to-peer transfer, like the Venmo app. So you can easily transfer to your family and friends. And then another thing is that you can also withdraw money from the bank, as long as your digital wallet inside has cash. Okay. So now we will also see among the fintech companies, what are they? Which one is the largest one or available worldwide? So we can see over here, it's in billions. So earlier on, the total revenue, I realized that I made a mistake. It's actually 25.4 billion, not million. Yeah. Okay. So we can see that among all, PayPal actually ranked the third. Yeah. So other than Visa and Mastercard, we can see onto the on my right. Onwards is Square, Stripe, and then Adyen, Gojek, Klarna, Bill.com, Checkout.com. What are these? We know what Square is, we know what Stripe is, but what are the others? So here we will have a quick look. Adyen is actually from Netherlands, Dutch. So it's a payment platform. It's actually a back-end payment platform where they process all the payments transactions for the merchants. So it actually replaces PayPal by eBay. And then Gojek is something like Grab. So it's a digital payment for transportation, payment, and also food. Klarna is actually based in Sweden. So it's an e-commerce payment platform for both merchants and also consumers. And then Bill.com is quite interesting because this one is a smart account payable and receivable automation. So for businesses, they have some account payable and also account receivable. So usually in order to keep track of all this, they will either have a paperwork or maybe Excel spreadsheet to keep track. But with this one, they can easily use these services and then keep track of all this paperwork. And then Checkout.com is actually a cloud-based payment for businesses. So it's also in US. So these are the fintech companies at the moment based on the market cap. Okay, so now we will look into what are the moats and competitions. So first off, for the moat, network effect. So PayPal actually serves both sides, the merchants and the consumers. So it's known as a two-sided network in order to provide a seamless end-to-end. So when the consumer make payment, the merchant definitely will receive payment. But earlier on, when Cayden shared earlier that when eBay pull out from PayPal, so PayPal can only receive payment from buyer, but no longer payment from merchant. So it's kind of like half of the pie is being taken away from them. Then next is the distribution network. So PayPal is actually is available for 202 markets, and about 426 million accounts are using PayPal. And then branding. When you see this sign, you know that, okay, my payment is being paid on the PayPal payment platform. So it's safe, and also it's fast, convenient. And also switching costs. So for consumer-wise, I don't see much about switching costs. That means if you don't like PayPal, you want to switch to another platform, like for example, PayNow. I don't see a very high switching cost. But if it's for merchants, it might have some switching costs. It's because for a merchant, in order for them to set up their payment processor, there's a lot of work back end they need to do. And they also have some sensitive data information. So imagine if they want to change from PayPal to Adyen, or maybe change to Stripe, or maybe Block, they need to make this transfer from PayPal to all these payment processor. If it's a big company, maybe they will have someone to do it. But if it's a SME, it's a lot of headache for them to just transfer the payment processes from one to another. So I will see that the switching cost for this will be quite high. And also the regulatory license, like for example, in order to transfer money from one place to another, they need to have license to make sure that they are being, how do we say? It's being, the word C.
It's okay, you can use other words.
Okay. They have to make sure that the payment that really runs through and not go to somewhere else. Okay. So now we will see who are the competitors within the payment industry. This one I don't say about fintech, but within the payment industry. So you can see that for the payment ecosystem, it's made up of 5 different payment service providers. There's acquirers or processors, card networks, issuers, gateways, and ISO and MSP. So this one I've explained in more detail in our blog, but for here, I'll have a quick explanation. So for processor, it's actually a payment processor between the merchant and also the financial institution. Like earlier on in the payment gateway, we see that PayPal send the information to the credit card company, so they will process that. And then card network is actually the it facilitates the card payment transactions like those debit cards and credit cards. So this is where the card network works. And issuer is very direct. The banks or maybe the credit card issuers, they issue the credit cards and debit cards. So for gateway is actually something like earlier on when I share point of sale, but it's a virtual type. So that means they collect the credit card information from the customers, and then by going through the gateway, and then they send it to the processor, and then they will send it back to the merchants to say that, okay, the payment has been received. So the gateway is kind of like an interface between the consumer and also the merchants to say that whether the transaction has been proceeded or not. So ISO and MSP is actually a third-party company that helps Visa and Mastercard to promote their services and get new merchants. So they're actually the same thing, but ISO is just a term used by Visa, MSP is a term used by Mastercard, that's all. So from here, we can see that there's a lot of different payments because consumers, they can choose any way they want to make payment. So for PayPal and Braintree, they are under the gateway. Okay, so now we will look at fintech payment. So for here, I've put up 4 different other competitors, which is Block, quite famously known, and then Stripe. And also I include Adyen for fun, because since it's replacing PayPal, and also I also put in Alipay, because it's one of the most famous payments provider in China. So we can see that based on the product and services, a lot more services are provided for merchants compared to consumers, because merchants need a payment provider to help them to process the payments, to receive payments, and also in the event that maybe the customer says that I don't like your product, I want a refund. If it's a cash, as long as you bring in a receipt, I can easily pay you back cash. But if it's a digital payment, like let's say digital wallet or credit card, once the payment goes through, how can you revert back? So this is where the payment provider comes in. So you can see there's a lot of different services is being provided by these fintech payment companies. And also now we will look at how many active users are using these platforms and also the total payment volume that they process. So from all, at first glance, there's a lot of numbers, but I just wanted to show you that Alipay has the highest number. Why? It's because in China has the most population in the world. And another interesting thing when Cayden was sharing earlier about the timeline, actually PayPal is the first foreign operator with the 100% control payment platform in China. So we all know that in China, they will tend to want to hold the company themselves. So foreign company is not easily go in. But right now, PayPal is the first foreign company has 100% control on the payment platform. So how will their future goes in China, we won't know, because they will still need to compete against Alipay and also WeChat Pay. And now we will look at digital wallet. So in North America and Europe, PayPal actually has the largest chunk compared to Apple Pay, Amazon Pay, and Google Pay. Yeah, so you can see that how well received PayPal is in North America and Europe. Okay. So now we will go into the financial statements to look at the numbers for this company to see that whether is it really valuable. So first off, revenue, it's increasing, so it's a good sign that it's generating revenue. And then next, we will look at net income. So what is net income? Net income is actually operating income minus off taxes and also interest, and ends up as the company profit. So what is operating income? Operating income is actually revenue minus off cost of goods sold. So cost of goods sold is the direct cost to produce the products and also services. And also operating expenses are the expenses that support the business. So once you minus off the cost of goods sold, operating expenses, you get operating income. And then from the operating income, you further minus off the interest and taxes, you will get net income. And now we will see that there's two anomalies from this chart. The first one is 2014. There was a drop. So when we investigate, it was actually they are paying a higher income tax. So when they pay a higher income tax, the net income is being affected. And then in 2020, there was a huge jump. It was because their non-operating income. So this one is not business related. It was actually their equity securities investment increased. So that's why their net income also increased. So all in all, if we don't see the other 2 points, it's actually an uptrend, if you can see. So the net income is okay until 2021. And then earnings per share. So what is earnings per share? Earnings per share is actually net income divided by outstanding shares. Okay, so in more simpler term, it means that for every share that an investor owns, how much profit can the company generate? So for example, if the EPS is about $10, so it means that for every share, the company can generate $10 for that share. So you can see that the EPS ties closely with the net income. And you can see that in 2014, there was a dip in the net income, and 2020, there was a surge in net income. So this also reflects closely with EPS. So when the net income increases, the earnings per share also increases. So it's also in an upward trend. So it's a good sign that it's good. And then for gross margin. So gross margin is actually a gross profit margin. So this is the mathematical formula. So it actually means that how much percentage of the gross profit can the company make after it minus off the cost of goods sold. So earlier on, I explained cost of goods sold is the direct cost to produce the products and services. So we can see that from 2012 until 2019, it was actually decreasing. So that means the gross profit margin is actually decreasing. It's because the direct cost of goods sold are increasing for PayPal. However, in 2021, you can see the trend is slightly moving upwards. Yeah. And also based on the value investing methodology, as long as the gross margin is more than 40%, the company is a good company. So we can see that here it's above 40%. So it's actually still profitable based on the value investing methodology. And now we also look at free cash flow. So what is free cash flow? So free cash flow is actually operating cash flow minus off capital expenditure. This is the mathematical formula. So, but what does it really mean? Okay, so operating cash flow is actually the cash flow that's generated from normal business activities, but after they minus off the capital expenditure, which is the expenses used to purchase assets that last more than 12 months or 1 year, this is the cash flow that the company retains. So we can see that on 2017 and 2018, there was 2 abnormal points. So when we deep dive into their annual report, we found out that actually it was a non-cash item changes. So what are non-cash items like, for example, stock-based compensations, depreciation, and amortization? This has nothing to do with the business. It's like how they decided to depreciate their assets or amortize their intangible assets. So it has nothing to do with the business. And when we ignore these 2 points and we see the overall trend is still an uptrend, so the free cash flow is actually increasing until 2021. So it's also another good sign. Now we wanted to know how are their debts. So we will look at debt at equity ratio. So in 2015 until 2018, it's like there's no debt. But 2019 onwards, the debt increases. And 2020, the debt also increases. Why? So first off, we have to understand what is the meaning of debt to equity ratio. So based on this mathematical formula, it means that for every $100 of equity, the company can only take no more than $50 of debt. So anything more than $50, if they borrow more than $50, that means the company is relying very heavily on borrowed money. So we can see that in 2021, it's actually below 0.5. So it's actually a good sign. But the reason why 2019 and 2020 there was a high spike is because they issued a fixed rate notes. So it comes into their long-term debt. So that's why their debt ratio for 2019 and 2020 increases. But still, it's still below 0.5, so it's still okay. Okay, so now we look at the numbers, we look at the future growth, their future plans. So what are the potential risks that PayPal may have, and the share price further plunges if it happens? So first off, rapid innovation in technology. So PayPal is actually in the fintech industry. So the technology will keep on renewing, will keep on innovating. So there will be always new technology comes up. So they will need to invest to keep on developing new payment solutions, or they have to acquire companies to expand more products or maybe payment solutions. And another thing is that earlier we have seen in the competition sector that there's a lot of different competitors, because they are not only competing against other payment fintech companies, they're also competing with the banks and also credit card issuers as well. So if, let's say, the consumers and the merchants decided not to use PayPal, they have more choices to use like other fintech companies, or maybe they just want to go and use back the banks, then there will be lesser people to use PayPal platform, and it will affect the number of payment transactions that goes through PayPal, which will also affect their revenue generation, because about 92% of the revenue generation in 2021 was from transactions. And also high inflation. Why high inflation? Is because when the prices of goods are getting more expensive, the consumers will be more cost sensitive. So like, this thing is so expensive, like this pen, so expensive. Should I buy it? I think I still have another pen, like still can use. Maybe I don't want to buy. So when people like spend lesser, so there will be lesser people spending on the PayPal platform. So to conclude all, the pros is that it's the top 3 largest payment fintech company. Earlier we see one of the slides. And also there's about 426 million users using after Alipay. And we can see the numbers actually are still quite okay at the moment. However, the cons is that it's in a very, very stiff competition. And also they need to keep on innovating for new payment solutions to attract more users. And also when there's less spending, there will be less payment transaction, and also it will affect the revenue for PayPal. So with this is my last slide. So I hope you have enjoyed this session, and then I will pass back to Cayden.
Hi, this is Cayden here. Welcome back to my segment, right? But I think before I continue from where Hillary has left off, now I want to give a full credit to Hillary, who has put in a lot of effort for this slide. So maybe I just need my team to just share the slides. Yeah. Now let me just scroll back. You know, these are the slides that actually Hillary has shared a moment ago, right? But she really has put in a lot of effort. Yeah. So I can see that Wendy. Thanks for analysis. Now, let me share with some of the things that she really put in effort. You look at the screen right now, you will see 5.2.1, right? And she talked about the online payment gateway. Now, it's very important for any investors that before you put your hard-earned money into something, right? And then PayPal is a payment gateway. I mean, what is it? It's like you want to buy a refrigerator, but what is a refrigerator? So same thing, I'm putting my hard money on the online payment gateway. So you better know what is online payment gateway. So you realize that Hillary put in a lot of effort to describe, customers, input this, and this whole cycle, and this is the online payment gateway. And then further on, she talks about, hey, I'm going to go through this online payment gateway, but there is this digital wallet Now, in the early days before internet became pervasive, we carry a physical wallet. So right now we have a digital wallet that stores something, that stores our electronic currency. And then she spent effort and talked about, digital wallet. And of course, after explaining all this, and then she, painstakingly do some comparison. Hey, PayPal is here, Visa is here. Now, do you realize that one single PayPal is almost all of this combined, right? Do you notice? Yeah, so it's really huge, right? So it's not just one red bar that sticks out, right? Now, and then she talked about a lot of things. Now, Gojek, yes, we know we use Gojek to book taxi, but, Gojek is part of this diagram. Interesting, right? So I just want to let you know that as I flashed through, right, all these slides very quickly, even though Hillary has already gone through, it is to let you know that in order for us to invest, right, there is a structure. You cannot hear your hairstylist and say, hey, PayPal is nice. Then you press because the hairstylist tells you to buy PayPal. So you realize that there is a structure. Yeah, structure. So what is a structure, right? The first thing is like buying anything, and before you buy something, you better know what you're doing. Yeah, that's why she's trying to tell you, okay, PayPal, this, payment gateway, digital wallet, and so on. And then when you buy that thing, whichever things that you buy, right? I mean, of all things, why do you buy that? Like, for example, you want to buy a phone, right? Why do you buy iPhone and not Huawei? So there must be something unique, right, about the phone, right? So here, instead of something unique, she used terms like economic mode because this term is popularized by Warren Buffett. Yeah, one of the richest men on the planet, the #1 investor all times. So she wanted to tell you, hey, okay, now we know what PayPal is relative to all other competitors. What space are they in? So let me tell you how special PayPal is. Yeah. So okay, she talked about these are the special things. And when somebody say, oh, this company is special, yeah, but that's your opinion, right? That's not a fact, right? Yeah. So can you please prove it? Can you please prove it to me that this PayPal is special? Now let me prove it to you. So she started to show facts. Can you see all these are facts, right? Numbers, Alipay, or all these are facts. But of course, from the facts, you may form an opinion. Then she show you all the financial statements. Yeah, so in the very beginning, when the so-called 4 advisors appear on Morgan Stanley's live show, all this Morgan Stanley say, yeah, this is good and so on. But if you pay attention, right, if you are very clinical, if you are a clinical psychologist or you're a lawyer, right, you pay attention to the things that these 4 fellas have said. I can assure you things that they say usually are generic statements. There's some money to be made by the sideline. So when you hear their opinion, it sounds very nice. No, they give you a feel that but nice is based on what when you form an opinion, you need to base on figures, right? So then Hillary painstakingly show you the revenue is an uptrend, and then even a tiny little thing like that, she also want to explain. You know what I mean? It's like there's a pimple on the face, then she tried to explain how the pimple was arise. So she went into detail, talk about this, because cost of goods sold went up. So this, and the reason why I want to do a quick recap of what Hillary has done, right, is because that is exactly what investors should do. And that is what VIA is telling investors to do. Yeah, so VIA does not tell investors, hey, you buy just watching a YouTube based on influencers and all this. So we have to take full responsibility for our money. We need to be very serious, which is why if you watch our deep dive series, and then you watch other so-called influencers, a YouTube channel, and then you listen to their thoughts, I'm quite sure ours is quite as factual as we can. But of course, eventually we may form certain opinion from a certain angle. Like, for example, debt to equity ratio, based on value investing perspective, right? We want it to be less than 5 and so on. Yeah, so as much as we can, we describe all this. So based on the numbers, as of this slide, right, it appears to be, after this session, I suddenly got this urge to go back to my brokerage account and press buy, Yeah, but hang on there, hang on your horses. So if you want to buy iPhone is not perfect. You see my iPhone, right? First time when I bought an iPhone, I was trying to find a jet for the earpiece, Yeah, then I posted on the Facebook, I say, where is my earpiece jet? Then my friend say, you old school, the earpiece jet is the charging jet. So I was asking that, you mean when I was charging, I can't use the earpiece? Then I realized I'm supposed to buy a splitter, I mean, nowadays, Apple makes money from removing holes, right? They ask you to buy more things. Yeah, so you see what companies are doing. So you see, even if people like Apple and so on, they're not perfect. They're not perfect. The one thing I don't like is if there are two holes, why do you make it to one, right? Yeah. So you see, for PayPal, despite the fact that from Morgan Stanley's so-called guess, they say that it's quite good and so on, and then look at the numbers, so good and so on. And then we also want to be very careful. We want to see two sides of the coin. So Hillary talked to you about potential risks, and then of course she came to a conclusion. If you buy PayPal, what are the pros? The whole list of things. Sounds quite nice, huh? So what are the cons, right? Yeah. So we want to be as neutral as possible. Now, so before I continue, let me just pick up from where Hillary has left off. Now, I just want to let you know that all companies has pros and cons, including Apple. Yeah. Now, so maybe from a customer perspective, it may appear that iPhone may have more pros than cons. Yeah. So of all the phones in front of you, wow, you look at Apple, it has more pros than cons. Okay. So I decided to buy Apple. So when you want to buy a stock, right? You want to buy a stock using hard-earned money. As much as you can, you want to have more pros and less cons. And sometimes traders, but we are not traders, right? Traders say, oh, I want to have more upside than downside. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So if the upside is a lot and then the downside is very little, right? Yeah. Then what does it mean? It simply means that if there's a lesser downside, that means there's a lower risk and then there's a higher return. Yeah, so remember, no company is perfect. You cannot expect to have a 0 con and then 100% pro. Cannot be, right? Yeah, so our objective is to state this, and then you look at it as quantitative as possible, right? If you buy this stock, are they more pros? Yeah, more upside, or are they lesser cons, and so on. Now, so this is the two sides of the coin, right? Now, later on, remember, as much as we want to provide facts to you, later on you have to form an opinion, and then we're going to play a game, right? But hang on there first, So if you look at the first con, we always want to look at the downside. Yeah, the worst thing that could happen is they got stiff competition. Now, I just want to let you know, initially when I started my company many years ago, I used PayPal. Seriously, I use PayPal, right? Because payment gateway comes to my mind, PayPal. You know, you want to search for some word, use Google, you know, something like this. So PayPal comes straight to my mind. And then after that, I got some bad experience from a merchant perspective. Yeah, I know this PayPal always like to, restrict your account access, ask you to upload documents, and it just happened this afternoon. Yeah, this afternoon, I want to transfer some money inside. Hey, I'm giving you money, I'm transferring money inside. They asked me, your account, don't know what, was locked in by somewhere. Can you please upload another document? So I have to go and search for my IC. Wow, so this is something that I cannot take it. Yeah, I've been using it for so many years. You keep asking me to upload the passport for what? So just to let you know, stiff competition is true because halfway through our journey, right, we switched from PayPal to Stripe. So right now, right, I'm no longer a merchant customer of PayPal, but I'm using Stripe. I'm very happy, serious. Yeah, very, very serious. So right now, whatever money I have in Stripe, right, you always go to my bank account on time. Yeah, PayPal always come out with new pattern, right? Yeah, later I show you some short discussion in the Facebook. Yeah, so remember, this stiff competition is true because I'm using Stripe, huh? And then, of course, what Hillary talked about, keep innovating, that one is true. Yeah. So right now, this is a downside, right? Downside, there's a stiff competition, and then there's an upside. There's an upside. So a good company is considered one, if they can fend off competition, there will be competition, always. They can fend off, they can manage. So how do you know they can manage? Revenue goes up, profit goes up, all the good things all go up, and then all the bad things all come down. Now, if all these numbers across the years, at least based on the past, has been going the right direction, right? That means, despite competition, they are shielding away the competition. Yeah. So far, based on numbers, it appears to be so. Yeah, in the future, we're not very sure because remember, they are in a fintech, right? Yeah, fintech, huh? So right now, right, let's connect the dots, go back to the very first slide. So PayPal plunged 70%. So is PayPal undervalued or a value trap? Are you supposed to buy now? Yeah, but before I give you the answer, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a very short video, but let me share with you the purpose of this video first. The video was recorded last year when we did a conference, and that was the very first time that we did a online conference, and we call it a Value Investing Symposium 2021. And at the symposium, we have 4 speakers, and they talk about different companies. And I vividly remember one of the company was talking about Adobe. Adobe, right? So same thing, we use the framework and so on, right? And during the online value investing conference, we also invited some of our past graduates. Because that time there was somewhat social distancing and so on. So we invited, I think, less than 10. So there was an audience, but there were hundreds of people, right, watching that conference. So the video that you're going to watch a couple of seconds later, right, showcase some of the things that we have done. And of course, our graduates, they also shared how important it is not to buy stocks blindly using your hard money, right, but to go through a certain process. So maybe let's play this video and then you get to hear what our grads have to say.
The number one obstacle that will prevent me from investing is my bad past experience. I was scammed before, so I really am traumatized about it.
I'm more concerned about the losses that I may incur without proper knowledge.
So some of my friends and family has actually lost a lot of money in investments, and that was probably like the biggest obstacle that I have to overcome in order to make my first move into putting real money into an investment.
To be honest, I made some errors in the past in stock investment as well. I just put in money without knowing. After attending the VIA course, that was the most important turning point for stocks. After that, the portfolio just went up and up.
I decided to source for a reliable training, and I found VIA. I took up the course and I learned that, okay, there is another side of investing, that we can do this very rationally.
I remember I did not fully comprehend the concept then. In the end, I attended VIA because Cayden's life experiences and achievements were convincing.
Wow, investing has improved my life, especially the unusual strategy, the cash flow option strategy that Cayden taught us. And plus, we know how to scan and screen for good and cheap companies. So I've been earning premium since last year, so it's been 1.5 years. So I have very regular passive income, and it really improved my life because I have a hope of an early retirement and giving more to my family.
So investing has definitely changed and improved my life by giving me back my time freedom. So a lot of people think that investment is about money, making money, but no, it's actually not. It's about what money can do for you, and the number one thing that it has helped me is that it has brought me back my time freedom. So right now I'm semi-retired. I get to spend a lot of time with my family, kids, and friends as well, and of course I can go travel anytime I like because I don't have to worry about my finances.
By investing in right companies or stocks or whatever, I give a better chance to myself, my family, my children, a better starting line. In the future, they have more resources, they can do whatever they want to do.
I think what really put me to VIA was Cayden.
Cayden.
I attended his masterclass, I heard him speak, and I've heard other speakers speak for their own masterclasses. And Cayden's humility and honesty was obvious, that this guy is not out there to get you to sign up. He's just there to show what he knows and let you learn about investing his way. So I found his honesty really, really enticing.
Well, I've heard other value investing presentations so far, and I found that Cayden to be very sincere, knowledgeable, and I believe that he is teaching in a way where it is through his honest opinion and experience. So I think that is very useful coming from somebody who's you are trying to learn from. That's why I decided to go with Cayden and VIA.
If you want to be financially free, learn from people who have the means. If you want to be rich, learn from the rich. Only those people can teach you these things. So I came to VIA searching for a mentor, and I think Cayden is actually quite a perfect one because he gave us a mindset, and that was the most precious thing, a habit that he gave us for investing.
So in terms of investment results, in terms of ROI, is about 10 to 15% per annum.
1.5 years, I doubled my savings.
I have been investing for 3 years now, and proud to say that one of the stocks that I own is now a two-bagger. And a two-bagger means it has gained 200%. So I'm quite proud of that.
Since I started in October, November period, and by now it's about almost a year already, and I got about 29% of ROI, and I think that's fantastic considering the fixed deposit interest in Singapore. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back. Now, by the way, I would like to thank all our graduates, who have shared their heartfelt testimonials or their reviews during the symposium. So, actually, I know every single one of them. We are very close. So, I think VIA should be one of the many, right, in Singapore and Asia that we have a very closely knitted group. Yeah. So, the reason why I want to show you that video is just to let you know that investing, yeah, is simple, but you need to be shown the way how to do it. Yeah. So these are some of the graduates who has shared with you their experience. So let's come back to this, my slides, right? Now, later on what's going to happen is I'm going to share with you a comparative analysis of PayPal as some of the competitors so that you have a perspective, PayPal versus something like iPhone versus Huawei, who is better and so on. So we are going to do the comparative analysis. And after we've done the comparative analysis, assuming that PayPal is really one of the best, they are the market leader, and the company is really good based on the numbers and so on. And the next one is we want to buy things that are good and at cheap. Yeah, only when you buy cheap, then there's a high upside that can make money. So I'll do comparative analysis, I'll do the intrinsic value and the valuation. And then later on, we're going to do a poll, right, so that you decide whether would you want to invest in PayPal or not. But before we reach that, right, reach that point, right, let me share with you something that's even more important. After hearing the stories of all our past graduates from the video, just to let you know that in the upcoming 1 week or 2 weeks or so, right, we are going to run an on-site masterclass. Yeah, so you can see the link is really out there, right? So one is on the 28th of April. Remember, it's on-site, right? It's not a Zoom, right? It's just that I cannot stand talking to a pinhole. So I want to see you and I have a conversation with you. So on site, on our office, yeah, there's a 28 link, and there's also a 2nd May or 5th of May. Did I get this? 5th, right? Yeah, so in other words, I think this is my mistake. So it's the 5th of May, right? Yeah. So if you just to let you know, the on-site masterclass, right? I'm going to spend 3 hours. I'll share with you some very important framework and structure, how you can do things like Hillary. Yeah. So, but let me share with you the benefits first. Now, the moment you buy the ticket, which is $8, and just to let you know that this $8 goes straight to charity, specifically National Cancer Center of Singapore. I'm the ambassador, right? Yeah. So the moment you buy the ticket online, the money goes to charity, and then because you donate to charity, right, we want to give you something in return. At the reception, we're going to give you 2 printed guides, yeah, to kickstart, right, how you can invest in exchange traded fund. This is one of the easiest way to get started investing, and then of course it's recommended by Warren Buffett. So that'll be the reception. And then after that, you enjoy 2.5 hours or 3 hours of time with me, right, personally. Yeah. And then at the end of the session, I'm going to give you something very interesting. Since you have given money to charity, right, $8, right, I'm going to pass you a hard copy book, not ebook, but hard copy book that is retailed at bookstores such as Kinokuniya for $33 per copy. I'm going to pass you a prepaid card, right? A Starbucks gift card, and inside there's a stock value of $10. We actually paid $10 so that there's a $10 inside the card. Now, and then we're going to give you my recent book, right? Which is retailed at $20. All these 3 things, Investor, Starbucks gift card, and Value Investing Simplified, right, will be given at the end. So you receive something in the beginning, you learn something, and then you receive something at the end. So these 3 things is to reward you because you put yourself through this journey, right? Which means that if you donate $8 to charity, we'll give you something that is worth $63. And we're talking about 688% ROI. So this is the upside. This is the upside. What's the downside? The downside is you spend 3 hours with me. Correct? You spend 3 hours with me, then that's the upside. Now, so what will you learn, right, in between, right? In between. Now, in between 28th of April, this one is actually 5th, right? Now, you learn 3 very important things. Just now Hillary talked about all the very detailed stuff. At the end of the day, we want you to own a piece of the good business so that you can generate 3 sources of passive income, even if you know absolutely nothing about investing. Now, there are about 173 people watching this video. I'm just assuming that most of you are our graduates, right? So you may notice that, even after the training, we are supporting you, and all these things. Now, if you have something to share, right, what the rest who are non-grads, they may learn, maybe you can just post something in the chat. But the meanwhile, right, remember, you can also learn how to invest in minimal capital. Like, for example, for US, you can buy one stock, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for Singapore, you can buy one lot. One lot is 100 stock, right? Which means that if one stock is $1, then you're paying $100. Yeah, so it's minimal capital. Of course, the most important thing is this one. I think this one is all our graduates' favorite, right? Our graduates will know that every single month we like to sell something called options. And the moment you sell something like a pen, a bottle, and so on, you collect cash. So every month we do it. So practically, right, literally, we are printing cash every single month. So in other words, if you are non-grads watching this, in between, right, you learn these 3 things that are very important. And then, of course, on site, you will see me personally, right? So remember, upcoming on-site masterclass is the 5th of May. And then these are the things that you're going to receive right at the reception. We go through 3 hours of training, right, commando training, right? And then at the end, as a reward, we're going to give you the 2 books, 1 Starbucks gift card, and of course, this is your ROI. So the 2 links are already posted in the chat box. In case you cannot see the 2 links, right, can you just refresh your YouTube, so that the 2 link pops up? Yeah, so what is going to happen is we are going to go for a registration break. Now, I wanted to buy you a cup of Starbucks, but you didn't come. Okay, so you must come there and give you the Starbucks gift card, right? Yeah, so what you need to do is just click on any of the link if you are not our graduates, and then just do the registration, yeah, and so on. So that's one, right? Now, but if a majority of you watching this, you are our graduates, please bring your friends. Now, if you really want to help them, right, so that they don't lose money, and then they have a constant stream of income like you, right, I think it's important for you to share things that are good. So with that, you can always register for friends, and then I shall see you on site. So right now, I think we will go for maybe a 8 minutes registration break, right? Yeah, 8 minutes registration break. So once the timer gets started, what you need to do is just click on the link, fill in the information. Once you fill in the information, of course, you get a drink and so on. And then 8 minutes registration break. When we come back, I'll talk about comparative analysis. I'll talk about the intrinsic value, which will give you some form of information on whether is it buy, sell, don't do anything, and so on, right? Yeah, and then we close it for the day. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's go for 8 minutes registration break starting now. Please remember, if you're non-grad, click on the link, register for Masterclass, and I shall see you on the 28th of April or on the 5th of May. So registration break starts now. Okay, hi, this is Cayden. Welcome back. Yeah, just now I went to take a small little Kit Kat bar, right? No time to eat. I realized that time really flies, not just to eat. But it's okay. Now, if you have so-called scroll through the chat, right? One of our old friend, Gene, I've not seen him for a very long time, so I'm really glad that he commented something on the chat. I think he joined our 4 days value investing program, and then subsequently, I think our advanced class, which is Project Never Work Again. I'm just guessing. I have not seen him or maybe for at least 3 years. At least 3 years. So even though we have not seen each other for 3 years because of this pandemic in between, right? But we have always been meeting our graduates on a monthly basis. And then plus all this YouTube Live and all this, actually we meet much more frequently than during the pre-pandemic. Yeah. So I think my teammate has already posted 2 links on the masterclass, but there's one good thing I didn't miss out. I should have told you, right? So remember just now I talked about our upcoming value investing masterclass on the 28th and on the 5th of May. These are the 3 things that we're going to cover. And remember I shared, I'm going to give you this, right? Remember at the reception, we're going to give you this. And then at the end, right, of the class, we're going to give you 2 books and a Starbucks gift card. But there's one very important thing, right? I forgot to tell you, is if you just buy 1 ticket, remember $8 go to the charity, right? That's one very important thing. Is you buy 1 and get 2 free. So what do you mean, right? You buy 1 ticket, you are free, right, to bring 2 friends along. Okay, this is very important. And then if your friend eventually end up in our place, right, we will also, right, give him or her, which is your friend, each person, the Investla book, the Starbucks gift card, as well as our latest book. I think whole Singapore, we are the only one that does this. Okay, so $8, bring 2 friends, your friends will receive exactly what you received. Not only that, because you shared with your friends what we do, right, there's some effort involved. Yeah, so in addition to these 3 things that we will pass it to you at the end of the masterclass, we will also pass you a $20 NTUC voucher. Yeah, that is to compensate you for your time. Where to find $20? We are the only one, Yeah. So maybe I'll need our teammate to post the 2 links again. So if you are our non-grad or if you are grad, you're watching this, wow, so that's very good, right? Yeah, please feel free to bring your friends along. Now, if you bring your friends along, how should I say that? If our graduates, you don't have to pay. You just need to buy the ticket for your friend. Just 1 ticket. And then you can actually bring 3, right? And then 3 of them get all the things that I listed here. Okay, got it? Yeah, got it, So the first thing is already out, 28th of April, and then the 5th of April will be out. So let me just continue. My part will be quite short, but it's important. So let's get started, right? Remember, for the masterclass, we have to learn the framework and the structure of how to do things like what Hillary has done. Now, so I remember just now she shared 1 slide, right, 6.2.1, talking about the competitors. And then just to let you know that space, the payment industry space, has a lot of things. If you look at the category, acquirers, processors, network issuer, gateway, and so on, there's many things. And then I think Desmond, right? Like Peter. Peter like say can't make it from work. But by the way, the class is in the evening, right? The class is in the evening. It starts about 7, ends at 10. Now for Peter, I think it's in the evening. It's in the evening, Yeah, it's in the evening, so you can attend these 2 days. Now, but in case you cannot attend any of the dates, maybe we can give you a new date. So I'll just need our teammate to pass them Adelina's email. Just type in Adelina Adeline's email. Yeah, Adeline@mykinesis.com. Yeah, and then we give you a new date. We give you a new date, right? Oh, by the way, one more thing before I talk about this competitive industry. Now, one of the key reasons sometimes people cannot attend because of work and so on. This is a valid reason, right? But I want you to imagine that if you put your work temporarily aside and then you attend, next time you don't need to work. So it's a one-time pain. So let's come back to here, right? Now, so since PayPal is under this payment gateway, what I did a couple of days ago, I was trying to find information of all this payment gateway, right? And then to do a comparison. And then I realized that some of the companies, I can't get information because they are private and so on. But this is what I can get. Okay, everybody pay attention to this. Finish work at 6:30. Don't worry, you take a cab, come to our site. We'll start at 7:15. 7:15, huh? So let me just continue, right? So this is the comparative analysis, all the company, and then I'm going to go through one by one. There's a lot of numbers over here. So this is PayPal. This is Adyen. Okay, and then one is PaySay, one is Block, and so on. So what I did was this, don't worry about the rest, right? Now remember the Hillary talked about economic mode. When we buy something, we want to buy something special. Wendy says, hey Wendy, are you our graduate? If our graduate, can you just say our graduate? Yeah. No, our Masterclass set at 7:15, not 7:30. Yeah. 7:15, 7:15, right? Okay. So when you want to invest something, we want to invest something unique called economic mode. And a company has economic mode provided this number, ROIC, right, return on invested capital, is bigger than this number, weighted average cost of capital, excuse me. So you can see this is bigger than this is bigger than this, but this is not. Yeah, so out of these four companies, yeah, you can see the difference. This is quite high, this is Adyen. Adyen, right, it's quite high. So usually the larger the number, right, the bigger the mode. Yeah. But out of these four, these two cannot make it, right? So we keep these two first. So I shade them in yellow. Now, then, of course, if a company is really unique, it must be shown in the growth of their profit. Growth in the profit. Oh, Wendy, your upcoming cross. Okay, the May one, right? Yeah, if you're joining the May, can you please sit in front so that I can pay special attention to you? Okay, right? Yeah, so really, I need to talk to you, right, personally. Now, so if a company is really unique, it must be reflected somewhere. So it will be reflected in the profit growth. So if you look at the profit growth for the past 3 years, this is called non-recurring item. Yeah, non-recurring. That means those are one ad hoc one, they put it aside, right? You can see, the growth is huge. Anything bigger than 20%, right? Yeah, it's considered a fast growth. Yeah, if the earnings per share can grow 20% per year, your money will grow 20% per year. Yeah, imagine this one 52%. Okay, so we keep the good ones. We keep these two yellow, right? Then we look at the margin. Now, what do you mean by net margin, right? Here is 16%. What does 16% mean? It simply means for every $100 of revenue or sales that the company make, after minusing all the tapalang thing, right, whatever left is 16. Yeah, just to let you know that $16 or $100 is pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good, huh? And then interesting thing is even though Adyen, right, beat PayPal for the first two criteria, but this one, they only half. Yep, so our net margin, definitely PayPal slaughter Adyen, hands down. Okay? Now, so here's done. So based on this comparison, I think PayPal is still a good company. Now, let's look at the efficiency. Efficiency, that means if they make money, yeah, but how efficient are they in making money, right? So this ROE, we want it to be bigger than 15%. Now, 15% is a very stringent criteria. It's like you want all your boyfriend to have six-pack. Yeah, you know, that kind of thing. So this 15% is actually a six-pack criteria. And then this ROA, you want it to be bigger than 7. Six-pack criteria, right? So if you look at these two companies, they pass the six-pack criteria. ROA, so lah. This one all very close. And then Adyen also quite good, huh? So I shade these two companies, Now, then, if they make money, they're efficient in making money, we don't want their pocket to have very big holes. So that any money that goes in, it comes out, right? So we want them to have low debt. Yep, so as long as their debt equity is less than 0.5, based on value investing angle, right, is considered good. So you can see this is less than 0.5, this is less than 0.5. But this is really very low debt. Low debt, Now, unfortunately, this Adyen is a Dutch company. It's not listed in New York Stock Exchange. Yeah, otherwise, after this presentation, I may look at Adyen. Oh, okay, So let's come to this. This, right, is just to give some facts, and then eventually you can form an opinion whether it's good or bad. But from my perspective, it appears to be good. Okay, so let's look at whether is the company cheap relative to their peers. Now, so there is this criteria which is enterprise value to EBIT, enterprise value to EBITDA. The technical things I put aside. In other words, the smaller the number, the better. Now look at this block. My goodness, this is ridiculously high. So 27 compared to this, PayPal is much cheaper. It's just a fraction, right, of price as compared to block. Yeah, comparative. So PE ratio, right, same thing. The lower, the better. So if you compare to Adyen, compared to the rest, right, you realize that PayPal is the cheapest among the peers. So as of this slide, right, so what what can we conclude, right? Compared to their peers, PayPal is a good company. PayPal by itself is a good company, it's a market leader and so on. In terms of price, right, relatively to their peers, it's the cheapest. Yeah, but remember, right, assuming that you conclude that the company is good, you cannot just press buy because you want to know the entry price, right? And to know the entry price, if you are a graduate, for example, Wendy is upcoming, right? We need to calculate something called intrinsic value. But of course, for people like Jean, Wendy, they will have eventually they will have free access to the tools that I personally use so that they don't have to pay any subscription, and then they can calculate the intrinsic value. So here it goes, valuation. Now this is not by valuation. This is one perspective from one company called Guru Focus, right? Now, so this black line represents the current share price. Yeah. So this is the this black line represents the intrinsic value. So they said that the intrinsic value is 207. So if the share price is above this intrinsic value, is overvalued, cannot buy. If it's below this intrinsic value, is a buy. So Guru Focus calculated that the intrinsic value for PayPal is 207. Right now the price is about 100. Yeah. So from Guru Focus perspective, it's significantly undervalued. Now remember, you have no idea who Guru Focus is. You have no idea what's the algorithm, right? But this is what they say. So don't just buy blindly, right? Let's listen to more perspective. Yeah. Another one is Morningstar. So Morningstar is more famous than Guru Focus. So Morningstar provides a professional online stock advisory. So they also do this thing called intrinsic value, right? So if you look at the intrinsic value right now is 145. 145, the stock is about 100. Yep. So if you look at these two companies, they are saying that it's undervalued. Yeah, it's undervalued. Guru Focus and Morningstar. But let me share with you my perspective. My perspective, right? Okay, so what's the valuation? Guru Focus 207, undervalued. Morningstar 145, right? Undervalued. Now let me share with you my perspective. My perspective for intrinsic value is about $80. Well, obviously I'm really highly conservative, But remember, am I really conservative? Now I'm assuming that this PayPal, right, will grow 20% per year for the first 10 years. Yeah. Followed by 2% growth for the next 10 years. Yeah, with 10% discounted rate, and my margin of safety is 30%. If you are a graduate watching this, I think you know what I'm saying. Now, $80 is highly conservative because I'm saying that after the company grow for 10 years, after they grow for the next 10 years, the company die. They may not be sold. So I let you decide. If you are a graduate, you can adjust the parameters, right, and so on, and then you see what makes best for you. Now, let's say you are really, I think $80 makes sense, right? And then you cannot buy because right now share price is about 100. So of course, what you can do if you attended our 4 days value investing program is you can sell options called a put option. Put option. Of course, we only share more. So for those people who are our, who are not our graduates, the links are there. Please click on the link, register for our class. So the range goes from 20 to 107, and if you want to do like average, one line in between, I think maybe it's about 100, maybe about 110 US dollars. Yeah, if you choose a median, right? Yeah, it's about this range. The number is this range. So it could be about fair value. Okay, so let's play a game, right? I'd like to hear from you. There are 169 people here. Oh, today is only 9 plus. Very good. Now, remember, so let's play this game. Let's say you already established that the company is a good company. And then right now, buy or don't buy. Now, again, to buy or don't buy, right, you need to ask yourself, which basket does PayPal fall into? Now, previously, we did a deep dive on New Bank, and so on, many other companies. Same thing, we use this structure. Remember, right, investing has a structure. Now, I let you choose either basket A. Basket A, that means you find that PayPal is low risk, high return. Yeah, because the share price has dropped $200, Or you may find PayPal is B, high risk, high return. Or you may find PayPal is C, high risk, low return. Come, ladies and gentlemen, 166 of you. Now, can you please type in your answer? And then, the rest can take reference. Let me just assume that all the 166 of you watching, right, we are all, in a certain community. We just want to have some feeling of what other people think, even though you know that you can do independent thinking, right? Yeah, so which basket will you choose? Is it A, is it B, or is it C? Okay, I'll just wait for a couple of seconds, right? So Edmund say A. Okay, I count the vote for you, see? I count the vote, 1. Yeah, 1, just count the vote, right? Come, everybody, please participate so that I can count the vote. Okay, Wendy say 1. Wendy, you must sit in front, right? First row. Okay, let me see. Any more? Eh, the rest never type, 171 of you? Because because Susie made a poll, so I cannot see the poll, right? So yeah, sorry, so Susie has to show me the poll, but the poll cannot be shown, right? Okay, so there is a poll. Okay, maybe I just write down here poll, right? Okay, 50% voted for A. Okay, about 28%, right, voted for B. 29% voted for B, and then the 18% voted for C. Okay, so I think the choice is clear. Yeah, when they say, hey, can do poll. Okay, can, thanks. Okay, so in short, out of 100%, right, half of the population chose A. It's like majority choose Lawrence Wong, right? It's the same thing, right? Oh, okay. A, Now, let me see. If I have a ball, right, and I want to toss the ball into A, B, and C, my take is PayPal should be a choice. It should be a low risk and high return. But if you really want to be a low risk, you can sell a put option. Remember, right? PayPal is a fintech company. They are not a Sheng Siong. So in other words, if you press buy, you do close monitoring of what they do. Because anytime some companies like Stripe may grow so fast and then destroy PayPal. Okay, so this is one risk if you invest in a very sexy high-tech company. Okay, So what else, right? Now, I think this is my one last slide. Now, this is a conversation that took place this afternoon. In fact, it's just a couple hours ago. So the context is on top, right? I say tonight got this deep dive series for VIA about PayPal. Danny Edmund is my good friend. He's a Malaysian. Malaysian. He's an online marketer. So he used to do PayPal. Yeah. Then after that, so I say something like this. Pardon me for my language. So this PayPal is really an ass. How come they refuse withdrawal? Now, the context is Edmund, right, has a merchant account. And then this PayPal, don't know why, right, locked his merchant account. And then he lost a lot of money, So that means he cannot withdraw the money out. Yeah, then can you see Edmund's response? Edmund say because they steal money and they can do it anytime. That's all. Well, then reply, walao, I heard this from another friend as well. Yeah, so can you see this one? This is Boon Han now. So in other words, this is one sample size, right? There's another sample size. No wonder their profit goes up. Okay, so you see this, right? Boon Han say, for my case, it was a business account, which is a merchant account. Remember, there's a merchant and there's a customer, right? They say they were unable to recognize the director as the previous staff signed up and left. So this Boon, right, went to their office, direct you to call hotline. You're already there, they ask you to go and make phone call. Then go round and round, In the end, you give up the money inside. So their profit goes up. Okay, okay, right? Oh, so somebody poll completed. Okay, very good. Okay, so this is actually I'm struggling with this. How should I say, right? I cannot stand putting my money into a business that appears to be unethical. If it's not yours, you refund them. And then, you know, during a pandemic, I have some friends who bought Air Asia tickets. Air Asia tickets. When Tony Fernandez posted something on his fan page, I can see all the cursing and swearing. After he posted something, and then the cursing and swearing are Malaysians. They say, I want my money back. How come Air Asia never return me my refund? I cannot stand companies that do this. If the money is not yours, it's not yours. Okay? So I let you decide. If PayPal makes money and then we've got this kind of ethical issue, right? Is this something that you value? Okay, so this one I let you decide. This is my last slide, right? What else? Okay, so remember, sorry, I need to do this again, right? Masterclass, so I just need our teammate help to put the link one more time. Yeah. So if you want to chit-chat with me, please come on site. Zoom quite difficult to chit-chat, and YouTube Live almost impossible to chit-chat. So remember, do good, donate $8, right, for charity, NCCS. I'm the ambassador. My tenure is going to end December next year, and our goal is to raise 150 million. We are about 3/4 already. Yeah, so if nothing goes wrong by end next year, NCCS should be able to raise 150 million. That's the first time in my life that I'm part of something that's so large, that's larger than myself. Yeah. So at the reception, you receive this. In between, you enjoy 3 hours with me. At the end of the class, you receive 2 books and a Starbucks gift card, and your ROI is guaranteed, 688%. And remember, when you buy one, right, you get 2 free. 2 free in the sense that, bring 2 of your friends. Yeah, our teammate Adeline will reach out to you. Bring our 2 friends, and then your 2 friends will also receive the 2 books and Starbucks gift card. Yeah, and because you bring 2 friends, we give you $20 NTUC. Wow, we are like, woohoo! We are like distributing all this, $20 NTUC voucher, right? Wow. So, okay, this is what we can do, what to do, right? Okay, so these are the things that we're going to talk about. Remember, 5th of May, you'll learn how to generate 3 sources of passive income, even if you know nothing about investing. So Wendy, I'm going to see her quite soon. You'll learn how to invest in minimal capital. And this is the most interesting, my favorite, we can print cash. And then for the PayPal, if you know how to sell put options, you can actually print cash, while waiting for you to buy PayPal at a much cheaper price, lower than $100. Yeah. So I'm coming to my last slide already. I have nothing much to say already. Now, maybe we'll put like 5 minutes, 5 minutes timer. So just to let you know that you are on this YouTube website that is managed by us, a team of us, and it's called, just to let you know that we are VIA, which stands for Value Investing Company. There are companies out there trying to take our name and then remove this academy and then put something else, right? Yeah, but anyway, there's only one and only VIA, Value Investing Academy. And our mission, right, is we care to make you a better investor. So please join our masterclass. The 2 links is already there, and I shall see you soon. In the meanwhile, right, just to let you know that this video that you're watching here will be at our YouTube channel permanently. If you want to share this information to your friends, please feel free to share, click subscribe, and so on. Okay, Okay, got it. So we shall end today. That's nice, 9:30. I can have my dinner. So I shall see you in our next masterclass, and for our graduate, we will see you pretty soon in your next gathering. So remember, this VIA, we care to make you a better investor, and I'll see you very soon. Okay, bye-bye. 5 minutes start now. No need see me.